Ain't no way in the world you was hacked. It was in you. And then I was like, we heard the name. Before we get started with today's show, I just want to remind you that you can save 10% on your order with Symphony of Balloons, a luxury balloon company that also offers a 360 camera. Just simply mention you heard about them on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. I am your host, Brian H. Waters. The show, of course, is brought to you by B. Waters Productions. Folks, so I was going to do the show yesterday, right? I was going to do this probably middle afternoon. Y'all know what I was going to talk about. Shannon Sharpe, audio leaking. Was getting it in. But I saw that he said he was going to talk about it. So I was like, well, it doesn't make sense. Like, if I do the show later, it just didn't make sense. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And boy, did he and Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson did not disappoint on Nightcap. So to catch y'all up, for those who do not know, yesterday, probably around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I'm scrolling through Twitter. Shout out to the homie Rita, the NFL chick. I saw her tweet. It said, Shannon's going to be wondering why his mentions are going crazy. I was like, okay. So you know what that means. Now I got to go through Twitter and go into search engine and check Shannon Sharpe. Whoa. So there's audio. Shannon Sharpe accidentally went live. And when he accidentally went live, boom. His phone was live and he was in the middle of having sex with a lady that, you know, we all know her now as Michelle because he said it, you know, they was talking and communicating, and he said her name and she said his name. And that's when I was like, wow. So, you know what happens with these type of things. You're sending around a group chat. You're like, yo, you see this? So then I saw a post come out about 2 hours later. So I was hacked. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, bro. Ain't no way in the world you was hacked. It was in you. And then I was like, we heard the name. So, no. But he owned up to it, said he wasn't hacked, said that his marketing dude calling him. And he up there, he said, I'm trying to get it in. And all of a sudden, boom, his phone keep ringing. And, you know, he's like, and I guess nobody wants their phone to keep ringing while they doing something. But then they'll let you know something is wrong. But he said afterwards, you know, he was finished and he saw all these missed calls. And he said, man, boss, you was, you know, we heard you. Heard me doing what? He upset. Heard you having sex. He's like, well, he said, don't worry. I took it down all alive. He said, I put that on his hat. He said, no, take it down. So I respect Shannon Sharpe. He owned up to it. He said what happened, you know, and of course him and Ochocinco made a lot of jokes about it. They talked about the memes. They saw all the memes that we had. There was a lot of stuff, you know, saw a lot of Vin Rames from Baby Boy, said uncles like that. And I think one of the funniest things is Chad Johnson told him, now, Unc, we got to get your cardio up. He said, because you was out of breath. But the best part was R-Truth, Ron Killings. If you R-Truth is a WWE superstar for those who do not watch wrestling. And his gimmick is he's the funny guy, right? That is a lot of times he will call people by the wrong name. He's been saying that 2 wrestlers are Shawn Michaels and Triple H, but clearly they aren't. But R-Truth was in full character mode, but he was probably dead serious. Like it was screenshots that said, get Unc, stop. Unc, pick up your phone. Okay, Unc giving her that Hawk tour. So it was the craziest thing. You know, this happened, you know, September 11th is unfortunately a day of sorrow and sadness because of the events that happened in 2001. And we all remember, if you were born around that time, but you remember exactly where you were, what you was doing. But yesterday around that time, I don't think we would have certainly guessed 23 years later that we would have been hearing then Super Bowl champion, defending Super Bowl champion, Shannon Sharpe having sex on Instagram Live. So that's the thing, man. I'm like, nah, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, Shannon Sharpe was out there, and but here's the funny part: he had just got on Chad Johnson about not being professional. Now, I was, throughout the week listening to things and figure out, say, what am I talking about? And one of the things he talked to Chad Johnson about was the fact that he was late. They was getting ready to go live for Nightcap. I believe they do that show 3 times a week, maybe less. But during the show, Chad Johnson was late, and Shannon Sharpe was irritated, visibly upset. And I feel, because I'm that way. If we tell people we're going to be live at 7 o'clock, I want to go live at 7 o'clock. That means at 6:50, I need to be sitting in my chair. I need to be ready to record. I need to be ready to go live. So when that bell goes off. So he was upset, and he brought up a good point. Would you be late to ESPN? Would you be late to Inside the NFL? And he started asking the necessary questions. Okay, you had a car service pick you up. Well, why did ESPN, they gonna have a car service pick you up. Why aren't you getting the same thing done? This is your platform. This is your brand. It's both our names on this show. So he was getting on him about that. And then, which I thought that was gonna be pretty much part of this week's episode. But then, Chad Johnson for him, he couldn't help himself. What did he do? He said, Unc, I'm disappointed because I hold you to a higher standard and everything. And, he said, and that's the thing. Shannon Sharpe said he was disappointed in himself. He said he had shed his tears and couldn't believe he felt like he let the people down. I mean, look, man, you was having sex. We don't, if you ain't doing it on purpose, so it happens. But he said, you're going to put the phone in you're going to leave it in the car locked up next time. These things, But the funny thing that's very interesting, you look at your phone and you go live on Instagram, you hit the button, you got to scroll over, then you hit live. So I'm like, it ain't that easy to go live. But, he said, I take his word for it. We know Shannon Sharpe. He said it. He's been a private person, he's been a public figure for over 30 years, but he's kept a certain aspect of his life private. And the funny thing is, like, he addressed everything. He told people, stop looking up who you think I'm following. Stop trying to find the Michelles that I'm following or that follow me. Somebody even said Barack Obama was upset. He said, no, Barack ain't got nothing. Trust me, he ain't got nothing to be worried about. So, and I think, it was fun. I like that he owned it, and it just goes to show you the type of character that he has. I want to invite you to check out my mother's book, The Tears Behind My Smile. This book is a tribute to my uncle, but it's about not only celebrating his life, but it's also a reminder of how family and true love can endure even in the face of life's greatest challenges. So make sure you check out this book. You can find it on Amazon. The link is in the bio. The Tears Behind My Smile by Robin Waters.
It's me, Queen PR, one half of those wrestling girls, and welcome back to another episode of Where Wrestling Meets Pop Culture. And this is the show where you find out who the current Up Down champion is. This is not the show where we speculate when Mercedes is returning to WWE. This is not the place for rumors and innuendo. This is the show where you find out where all your wrestlers are up to outside of the ring. One of my favorite couples, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. We knew that Bianca and Montez were filming a reality show with Hulu. I just have to have a moment for the It family.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you in the gym every week? Are you looking to kind of keep yourself cool while you work up a nasty sweat? Well, I got the best thing for you. Cooling bands, bandanas, cooling towels, and so much more. Go to Vertical Athletics, get your favorite team in MLS or MLB, or guess what? Now they have a custom option so you can upload your own logo. And you can save 10% at checkout when you enter the code Brian H. Waters. Go to verticalathletics.com. Use the code Brian H. Waters to save 10% on some of your best cooling gear. Donald Trump. They are eating cats and dogs. I think what's so funny about this is it felt like he took the bait from somebody, right? Telling us they're eating cats and dogs and the immigrants. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I didn't watch the debate live. I was watching NXT and baseball, but that's neither here nor there. And I'm like, wait, did he really say that? They're eating cats and dogs? And I remember I let my kids hear it and they was just laughing like, my son who's 14, he kind of understands this stuff way more than my daughter. It's just like, did he just say what I think he just said? And it was just the most hilarious thing. Like, bro, what? Like, wait, what? They're eating cats and dogs? Are you kidding me? That just makes no sense. But, you know, one thing for sure, Donald Trump is going to entertain you. He's going to find a way to make you laugh. He's going to give you a soundbite. I was talking to my cousin, Chain Wayne. Shout out to him. And Chain Wayne said it best. He said, man, look, I follow Trump because he give me content. So I don't know how much longer we will have Trump in this limelight. I don't know if he loses, will he run again? But we will be able to say we lived through this era. And one day this will all be vintage. When, you know, I'm 38, one day when I'm in my 40s, I said, y'all remember when Donald Trump was running for president? He was saying all the craziest things. But who knows? All right, so Jonathan Majors, he will be at the famous Monsters Festival. Among those who will be there will be Lord of the Rings legend Andy Serkis, Star Trek actor George Takei, I may have said these names wrong, and Halloween alum Tyler Mane. They'll all be in attendance. But the big story is Jonathan Majors will be selling his autograph for $140. And he'll be doing photo ops for $160. Now, I don't think a lot of people are very happy with this. My thing is, with autograph signings, look, people charge what they charge, either choose to buy it or not. I don't necessarily do the whole autograph signing thing. It's also because of the line of work I'm in. You know, most of the time it's not time for it. Like, you know, I'm doing interviews and producing interviews. But I always say this, you're worth as much as you can afford. I mean, as you can negotiate, right? So when you see athletes out here negotiating contracts, Dak Prescott just got a $60 million contract to play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys extension. And people say, oh, is he worth this, that, and the other? You're worth what you can negotiate. If you can convince that person to pay you X amount of dollars, you did it. A lot of times people, we are underpaid or we don't negotiate how much we should. And you can make an argument that so-and-so is getting paid more than what they should, that they, I want to say their value, or maybe, you know, they're getting paid too much, right? I can understand that. But if you can negotiate it and you convince them to pay you, look at a lot of the baseball contracts where the athletes get paid so much money and then they get these extended contracts. So like Bobby Bonilla gets paid $1 million every July 1st. I think Ken Griffey Jr. just stopped getting paid by the Reds. So if you can convince teams and stuff to do that, by all means. So look, I don't really have an opinion on Jonathan, but I will say, hey, get your bag if they're going to pay it, because I guarantee you somebody's going to pay it, and he's going to have some photo ops that come out of this convention. Kendrick Lamar, y'all know all the fallout. Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl, and I talked about it briefly. You know, like I said, I wish, you know, I would have loved to have Lil Wayne, but I understand, you know, Kendrick is hot. He's the guy who song is going to be played a lot this weekend at different college football games, the NFL games. The bands are going to be playing them. You're going to hear Not Like Us over and over and over again. But it makes sense for him to be at the Super Bowl. Now, he just dropped a new song. First, I saw Instagram. I saw the post with the Black Air Forces, or I should say the Black Uptowns, and I said, uh-oh, he choosing violence. Apparently, he about to go round 2 with Drake. Now, I don't know if that's necessary. Like, kind of like, you already beat him. Like, what's the point? You already won. Now, I heard the song, not for me, but by all means, that's what he do. He makes music, so he's going to keep making music. But it's very interesting that, he's stock about to go through the roof. For those who do not know, you don't get paid to do the Super Bowl, but the awareness, the opportunity, the exposure is second to none. Now, let's just hope Taylor Swift isn't in the press box, or I should say the suites during the Super Bowl, unless she's sitting next to Travis Kelce. Now, speaking of sports, I was looking at this thing, right? And it was Nick Wright from Fox Sports 1. He was posting this about his tier quarterbacks. They talked about he was about to drop Lamar Jackson. And Nick Wright is a Chiefs fan, known Chiefs fan, right? Now, I'll be honest. I first heard of Nick Wright. It was around the time of one of the men had got killed on, by the police officers. And he was very passionate. And I said, oh, man, I like this guy. He's speaking about it and he's trying to be fair. He's understanding the issue of black men getting killed by police officers. But then, like, some of his sports opinions, man. And let's talk about this. You ever had those fan bases that are so annoying that you don't want their team to win the Super Bowl? You ever had those, like, you don't want them to win? A lot of people talk this way about the Dallas Cowboys, right? They say they can't stand the Cowboys. Their fans are annoying. It was the New England Patriots of the 2000s and 2010s. Felt like they would never go away. But right now it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And Nick Wright is one of them annoying Chiefs fans that's like, bro, I just can't wait for them to be humble. It's a lot of them. Oh, this whole Chiefs kingdom on Twitter. I remember when the Chiefs were 1-15. You know what I mean? I remember when they were irrelevant. They've been around. Second, they was in the first Super Bowl, fell to the Packers. I am so sick of them. And those are those fan bases, right? The Boston Celtics fan base. Sometimes it can be that way. They wasn't that bad this year, but boy, them Paul Pierce years, woo! Miami Heat fan base, for real. When they had LeBron and Dwayne Wade, you just couldn't tell them nothing. And then the thing about that team was, at least Boston's fans were there. Like, they, most of the time they either born into it or they became the fan on the Pierce and Walker, but they've been around. Those Heat fans, where are they? Right? Those people when they had the big three down in Miami. I'm a Lakers fan. I know how we are. We won championships, and we not delusional. Like, Cowboys fans are delusional. I used to be one of them. Every year was our year. I used to be one of them. I'm a Ravens fan. I was liking both, but now I'm strictly to the Ravens. You feel me? So there's that. And then in baseball, I mean, the Yankees. Here's the thing that's annoying. It's not the New Yorkers that's Yankees fans, because those, whatever you're supposed to be. It's the ones that's not from New York. Those are the irritating ones. The non-New York Yankee fans, especially ones from Baltimore. Shout out to my boy Banks. Love you, death, bro. But no, y'all in that annoying fan base. Because most of the time what it is people choose the Yankees, just like the Cowboys. They choose these teams because they're popular. And then those teams go spend the money, so they always gonna be on television. For me, it was the, I always say, me being a Laker fan was before Shaq. It was because of on Space Jam, they refused to go in the door. I knew that Michael Jordan wasn't going to be around for a little bit. I was younger, and then Shaq went there. I liked him because he was on all the posters. He was like he was the second superstar basketball player that I knew of, like Michael Jordan, and then Shaquille O'Neal. But I still ride with the Lakers. Them years when we drafted Lonzo Ball and D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram. Yeah, still my team. But you had those annoying fan bases. And you know who's probably going to be that way? If we're being honest, the Indiana Fever. Yeah, I think they're coming. They're coming, folks. But yeah, annoying fan bases. Y'all talk to me. What y'all think? Who's an annoying fan base for you? But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you check out the tabs, all the little videos I'm throwing throughout this video. Click them, watch them, subscribe to the channels. Remember, folks, you can get this shirt, by the way, on foryourwear.com. Remember, do not let anyone place a ceiling above your success. So long, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this podcast by wearing a t-shirt, whether it's the one that says breaking through glass ceilings or the one that says no ceilings above success, simply go to foryourwear.com. Also, you can support some of your other favorite podcast and content creators, including Those Wrestling Girls, Seahawk, and the Wrestling Club. And you can support some of your favorite independent wrestlers, including Jay Bougie, Trisha Dora, Chaz the Don. Shoot, all the Pure Ignorance is on there. So go on foryourwear.com, go under personalities, you'll find Brian H. Waters, and buy a t-shirt. And remember, I'll give you a shout out on the show.